Welcome back. Thank you for joining me on one of these videos for the grazing season. This is the Georgeville Regenerative Grazing Program we have going on here, trying to expand our cow herd and improve our grass all at the same time. Cows have just been moved to some of the best grass I think I've ever had the privilege of grazing. We got the fence hot now, or should be. We'll hook that up. Got us a line made here. This grass averaged just a hair under 20 inches tall, like 19 and something. I ran a little test on it to see. It just came off of that where the ranger's sitting. It might be better than this. It was amazing. Now there's areas, like areas like this here. They got some white clover and a little bit of bluegrass and some bare ground. They're not going to look great when it's finished grazed. Still working on improving those areas. I don't want to overgraze those areas, but sometimes it happens a little. But boy, we've got some really good fescue, some really good red clover, even though it's starting to go to seed. It's a little past where you probably want it, but man, there's going to be a lot of seed put back on the ground. That's great. So really, now here's a shorter spot. Some of the shorter areas that you don't want to see, but then right here, you're back into really good grass. I mean, there is fescue and bluegrass and orchard grass. Orchard right there with all those brown leaves. Red clover. And there's even ragweed right here, which they're taking the tops out of still, which really surprises me. That's the latest I've ever seen them eat the tops out of ragweed. A common ragweed, that is. And there's a few weeds too out here, but a lot of good. Like right here is some field bindweed. They'll eat that too. Here's some bluegrass and fescue that's been knocked down. Here's some chicory. Pretty well past its prime. If I had some sheep or something like that, they'd love that. And I still gotta look this plant up right here. I almost said weed, but the cows are grazing it, so I'm not gonna call it a weed, because it's definitely not. And like I say, there's a thistle. We got some good and bad. But boy, the cows, they sure are liking this. And it is hot. It was 100 today, and you could tell. That's what the only thing concerns me about the bare spots is getting enough rain to bring those back, and maybe I wouldn't even mind if there was some regular common ragweed in those spots as long as something was growing. So that is one struggle still we face, is getting all these spots completely regenerated. But we're working on it. We're giving it rest. This pasture here just got done with 43 or 44 days of rest. Love to see 60, but I'll take 44 over 24. Man, there's some orchard grass right there. Look at that stuff. That's good. And here we got some red clover, a little bit of fescue mixed in. You can tell fescue right here. If you just look at it real close, and I wish my camera had a little better ability to look at it, but boy, it has these veins down the leaf. And right now, this time of year, they're sharp. Very sharp. Unlike your orchard grass right here. The orchard grass, it's got a little groove down the middle. You could fold that leaf a lot easier, fold it over. And then also it has if you get down in here and look real close at the stems, which are kind of hard to see, but they have a very flat stem to them. And they almost have a bluish green color tint that fescue does not have. You can kind of see there's your orchard. And then you got some fescue right there, like this leaf here. Like this one and this one. So, a little difference in them. They definitely prefer the orchard grass this time of year, but they'll take it all and do pretty good with it. There you go. There's a cow feeding her young calf there. That'll be good money for us this fall. You can see we got some good animals right there. We'll probably keep that one in the middle. That's a heifer, a really nice heifer, out of this half Hereford cow up here. So we've got some options for this year. But the principles that this field is really doing a good job of covering is obviously ground cover. We want to maintain that ground cover, because those spots I showed you that are really short, they're going to dry out so fast. We've got days on end it doesn't seem like there is an end in sight of hot weather. So those areas are going to really dry out, which is what concerns me. But areas like this, they will hold moisture in, and the microbiology will really do well, because when the ground starts to get too warm, the microbiology does not like it and they start to die off. So we want to keep the ground nice and cool. We want to keep it protected. It has, some people say, the armor on the soil. That's one of the soil health principles this is really doing a good job of. I suppose you could always increase diversity, but I am pretty pleased with this diversity. That's one thing, that plant diversity is a soil health principle. I'm pretty pleased with it because when you look at it right now, you can see we've got our clovers here. We got some red clover and white clover. We got some fescue. We've got some orchard grass. Once again, more red clover. But when we've got over here, yes, right here, here's a dandelion. It's good to have these different types of root systems, fibrous plant roots and more of these taproot type things on the clover and the dandelions, and of course the chicory. Even though the cows aren't too interested in that right now, I like what it's doing. It's helping feed the biology and helping bring some nutrients up in the soil. Even some horseweed right here. I can't say much about it, but it's another diverse species out here. And then we've got some regular ragweed. We've got some foxtail. We've got some bluegrass right here, the real fine stemmed grass, and of course more white clover. So it really is pretty good. It's doing really well right now. There's definitely some other species, of course, thistles, which I'm not sure if that's part of the plant diversity I care to have, or this nettle right here. And then we've got some other varieties of grass here and there. I think they're over there towards the ranger. There's actually some, and towards this cow, I think there's actually what I believe to be perennial ryegrass, which I did not know we had. But I think that's what it is. And then also I mentioned that field bindweed earlier. That's another species. So you can see this cow, she's really consuming, really taking in that what I believe to be perennial ryegrass. Here it is. I think it's perennial ryegrass. When it first started coming up, I thought reed canary grass, but boy, it doesn't get as big as that, and the seed heads are different. So I'm thinking perennial rye, and it's definitely not an annual type species because it's here every year. And I don't know, it might be expanding a little bit, but boy, does it make ground cover. It's got really good ground cover. There's the bare ground underneath this stuff. That ground's hard, but at least it's got some cover on it, and that's probably not one of the better cover spots. So we're meeting a couple soil health principles, and then the soil health principle for extra credit that not everybody counts would be the livestock, and that's really nice to have. And some people just put in soil health principle as what works for your system, as far as daily moves or whatever the type of thing works for your system that works best for you if you have a job in town and different things like that. I think that that could be a soil health principle, but I don't know, more of a cultural principle maybe. And for us right now, daily moves, if we could get them, works really well. And I really like these daily moves. And then we're just keeping living roots in the ground right now really well. I mean, if you have a good pasture, that's not a problem. But those bare spots, those are the ones that concern me the most. We're kind of missing some of the living roots that we really need right there. But this grass right here, it's pumping carbon back into the soil through the process of photosynthesis. Of course, it slows way down when it starts to reach maturity. And one of the ways to help reset some of that carbon pumping process is to graze. When the cows take those tops off, like these girls are doing, that grass starts trying to regenerate and it starts feeding the soil again. So that's really, really good. Really, really good for the soil. And really good for the biology being fed and helping break down some of the nitrogen that's in manure. And it's using some of that nitrogen to build this organic matter. And carbon's really important for all living things, so these plants are going to do really well off of the carbon that they're being fed. Well, the biology, I should say, being fed by carbon from the plants. But in the long run, the biology is being fed right now, and the plants are being fed too, though, by the biology back. So it's really just it's quite the process. Everything is working together, and that's what you want. That's what you want to see. You don't want to be working against the grass by grazing it too short, or then you're working against your biology, and you're working against your cows and your long-term profits, really. So that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to increase profits, but protect our soil, too. Because in the long run, that's what really adds up to increased efficiency and increased money in our pockets. I heard a guy say, and this is a really, really good thing that he said, was that we're not cow farmers, we're not beef farmers, we're not even grass farmers. What we really are is microbiology farmers. And first, when you hear that, you think, microbiology, I mean, what's that going to pay? can't sell microbiology. But if you protect your microbiology and then that protects your grass, and then that protects your beef, and that's what you can sell and make some money on. And that's what we're trying to do. And in the long term, situation like this, we hope will come out better in the long term than really heavy grazing and overgrazing and overstocking this herd. So that's some of the reasons we do what we do. So if you like this video, please, of course, like it and subscribe, and then come back and see how we fare this summer with the, well, not a drought yet, but that doesn't seem like it anyways, but we'll see what happens in 40 days. So just keep watching. Thank you for watching, and there'll be a video on next week.